The fortress at Bomersund was planned for a garrison of 5,000 men. It was meant to be the key to the Baltic Sea, a northern Sevastopol. Bomersund was to strengthen the western border of the Russian Empire and constitute a base for further expansion. In the summer of 1854, the fortress was still unfinished. The defences were incomplete. Important buildings were still waiting to be built. Only 3 out of 12 cannon towers were ready for battle. Bomersund was not yet the invisible concentration of power it was intended to become. If anything, it was a fortified construction site. Around midsummer in 1854, 3 British warships attacked the fortress. With the help of his men, Commandant Bodisko fended off the attack. He was promoted to Major General for his efforts. The people of Bomersund could let out a sigh of relief and carry on with their construction works. In July, the Major General observed with growing anxiety how British and French warships gathered to the south of Åland. When the Russians realized that a major attack was at hand, it was already too late. The defense was in desperate need of reinforcement by armed vessels. But before reinforcements arrived, the fortress was surrounded by the enemy fleet. The cannon sloops sent for were useless and had to return to Finland. Bodisko had to make the best of what he had. The defensive force at Bomersund was constituted of approximately 1,600 armed men, Russian infantry, along with Finnish snipers and unarmed workers. A little more than 100 artillery pieces were mounted in the towers and the main fortress. Bodisko seems at a loss in his role as commandant. Orders are given to set all buildings in the nearby garrison town on fire. The buildings are not to provide hostile troops with shelter. In early August, houses and homes are ablaze in flames. The defending soldiers retreat into their fortifications. The carnage of war has arrived. 5 days later, defenders watch with anxiety how an ocean of tents rises around the fortifications. When they scout for seaborne reinforcements, their eyes meet merely with hostile masts as far as the eye can see. About 60 warships surround Bomersund. Towards land they see their enemies building artillery positions in the surrounding terrain. Everyone is waiting for the inevitable. Early in the morning of August 13th, the defenders are awakened with a start. Artillery firing and bombs raining in through the roofs shake them up from their uneasy rest. The casemates are filled with dust and smoke. Orders from nervous officers and screams from wounded soldiers blend into the chaos that follows. The snipers are forced down from their rooftop positions. Rifle bullets rattle in the loopholes. Cannonballs crash against the outside walls, and shells detonate regularly upon the troops. The defense is hopeless, but it must go on. The inferior defensive force is continuously thinned when one after another falls. The warm blood of the defenders slowly drains into the red island gravel. The Tower of Branklin falls in a day. A part of the defensive troop is captured. Lieutenant Colonel Klingstedt at the main fortification orders howitzer fire towards the tower. In enemy hands, the tower is a deadly threat. The howitzers have to be fired from the courtyard, where they are vulnerable to enemy fire. Under the brave leadership of Klingstedt, a minor success is achieved as the tower catches fire, explodes, and collapses. Some hope that enemy soldiers perished in the blast, but the assault continues relentlessly. The situation is hopeless. The battle gains momentum now that the main fortification lies vulnerable. A rebellious spirit takes control among the defenders. Someone breaks into the liquor store and manages to hand out bottles before order is restored. Bodisko realizes the situation will only grow worse. The bombardment will continue until everything lies in ruins. A decision is made on the 16th of August, unconditional surrender. Lives are spared, but for Bodisko, who triumphed over Napoleon in Paris, there will be only disgrace and a court-martial. Discipline among the defending troops collapses, and an unbridled drinking takes over. Drunk and degraded, the troops are herded on board enemy ships as prisoners of war. Bomersund fell after just 4 days of battle. The destiny of the fortification and the Åland Islands came thus into the hands of the British and French.